The Jersey Swap podcast is sponsored by Apollo Home. Apollo Home wants to remind you that during this weird in-between season of summer and fall, now is the perfect time to get your HVAC system checked out before the cold winter is here. We're bringing back the $29 coupon for CST listeners for your preseason furnace tune-up. And as always, keep them in mind for your electrical or plumbing needs. Give them a call, send them a text, or schedule online at apollohome.com. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jersey Swap podcast. We're doing this again. I can't believe it. We're doing this again. Finally, the regular season is done, and we're wandering into the unknown that is the MLS Cup playoffs. Autumn succumbs to winter, so that normally leads to colder, darker environments. It makes all the sense in the world to heat things up with the fury of 1,000 suns. Hell is real returns to the playoffs, whether we like it or not. Home against Columbus, away against Columbus, and a third match at TQL if necessary. Don't know if any of you have the stomach for it, but here goes anyways. It's not the conference finals, unfortunately, but it will have to do. We have Tyler Fisher from Massive Report here to break down the series. Let's bring Ty in right now. How are you doing, Ty?
I'm doing well, Geoff. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Let me bring us both up here so that we can talk and get this over with. I mean, it's good to see you.
Yeah,
I kind of wish it wasn't in this situation. I think every time we have the hint of a playoff matchup, we want it to be the best matchup before, but I guess the first round we'll have to do.
First round we'll have to do. Unfortunately, Columbus could not get it done to get to the point where we met in 2023 again. But I guess better to get out the way now than later.
Yeah, it's been a while. We haven't talked in the podcast this season. Just wanted to check in. How is Massive Report doing?
Doing well. Currently on the verge of looking for new writers, as almost every outlet is. Bringing on some interns. Doing everything that we can to keep the crew coverage going.
Yeah. You've got the crew. You've got crew 2. Is there anything new for next year that you want to cover, or just basically more of the same?
Yeah, more of the same. And then obviously expanding our coverage for the Columbus Eagles, the women's professional or the women's premier soccer team here in Columbus. So a little bit of that, might throw in a little bit of college, hopefully. So yeah, just doing that.
Yeah, we have our guy Justin Blair still covering a lot of the local soccer here. Now that we're in the silly season, we're also in college soccer as well for a lot of the teams around the area. But we definitely want to focus on this matchup. This is the if you listen to what Soccer Wise has to say and all the other pundits, this is one of the few series out there that has meat on their bones right now. So we want to sort of get a feel of how what you think of this whole best of 3 situation. I mean, does a first round matchup feel worse? I mean, we wanted to have a conference final matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wouldn't say it feels worse. I would say it was kind of written in the stars a little bit, right? Obviously, Cincinnati kind of a roller coaster as the latter part of the season kind of dwindled down. Columbus not very good, but was somehow able to get results when they needed it. It's been kind of forthcoming. Obviously, with our win against Red Bulls, we jumped up into 7th place without having to play Chicago in the playing game.
Mm-hmm.
And Cincinnati wins, and now that's where we both come into play. And first round matchup, best of 3 kind of is a not really a walk in the park for both teams, right? Because it's more so, okay, we get the best of them the first game, we can get them again the next game, third game if necessary, instead of a all on brawl like the 2023 conference final was.
It's going to feel weird. I mean, even going if it's a draw, we going straight into penalty kicks. It's going to feel weird because you guys wiped us out in extra time, and we don't have that benefit if you try to come back and wipe us out the same way this time around as well.
Yeah.
One of the other things that was mentioned, one of our co-hosts mentioned like the East being sort of a meat grinder this season. I mean, it feels like this format is perfect for really sorting out who the weaker of those meats are. I
Yeah,
mean, do you see this format devouring the higher seeds like they did last season?
I think so. I mean, just look at the playing game yesterday, right? Chicago taking on Orlando City. A lot of people had Orlando City winning, but obviously Greg Berhalter has something very special going on in Chicago, and they were able to pull out the 3-1 win. It's definitely going to be a test, not really a testament to how well the lower seeds can keep up to pace with the higher seeds. Chicago going to Philly, New York City and Charlotte, Nashville, Miami, and then Columbus and Cincinnati. This matchup here is more so of going to be what the same as a regular season matchup would be, right? So it's definitely going to be one of the many challenges to see whether or not if the higher seeds are um, who they are, or if they will blunder and succumb to the lower seeds.
I mean, last year really caught us off our guard. Our team, your team, Miami, all got wiped out in the first round. It
Yeah,
sort of showed like what a best of three could do. This year, with the teams being so high
yeah.
in points, but also low in terms of the highest point, it feels like there's a lot more. Any team can really beat any other team.
Mhm.
Even Miami, I would chalk up.
Yeah, definitely. I was talking with some people last night, and that series alone is going to be a weird one, right? Nashville and Miami, because either team can really take it to them. This series alone, Cincinnati can take it to Columbus in 2 games, 3 games. Columbus can take it to Cincinnati in 2 or 3 games. We just don't know. But with this series here, it's going to be the one to watch. I feel like, especially if you're a neutral and you
Mhm.
love the what the rivalry brings, it's going to be one to watch. It's going to be popcorn worthy. It's going to be, beer worthy, whatever you want.
I think it's going to be worthy, but mostly because also the West doesn't quite have the same,
Yep.
I think, matchup. On paper, you're waiting to see if LAFC can take on Seattle down the road, or
Yeah.
looking to see if Vancouver and Seattle becomes a thing in the conference finals. You don't really have that in the first round in the West. So the East, I think we can pride that you have some of the better the better meat on the bones.
Yeah, 100%. I can agree with
Yeah.
that.
So let's talk a little bit about Columbus in general. We've gotten the chance to talk to some of the other journalists and podcasters up in Columbus this season. We haven't gotten the chance to really talk to you guys about what your thoughts are with this general season.
Yeah.
I mean, early in the season, preseason, both Cucho and Ramirez both dealt.
Mhm.
Were there concerns out of the gate that the offense had some issues before even a single minute was played?
Yeah. I think the biggest one is who's going to be our goal scorer, right? There's obviously goal scorers on the team, but there's no clinical goal scorer, if that makes sense.
Mhm,
Dealing Cucho away to Real Batiste left a big hole in the front. Now all the pressure was on Diego Rossi's shoulders to kind of pick up where Cucho left off at. And I say this a lot. I say this to a lot of crew fans because whenever somebody goes away, whenever somebody gets brought in, they expect them to perform at the standard that was recently there, right? When Rossi came, everybody was like, "Oh, he's going to be the next Lucas Zelarayan." You can't take Lucas Zelarayan tendencies and put them in Diego Rossi,
mhm,
right? When Cucho left, oh, Diego Rossi has to score the goals. You can't put Cucho tendencies in Rossi.
mhm.
Wissam Abu Ali came in, gets a couple goals before going down to injury, and we'll talk about that later. But everybody was saying that they need him to be a Cucho level. Again, can't take Cucho tendencies, put them in Abu Ali. Even though Columbus had been trying to get him since January, it's been a hassle to get him until the summer window. Um, but yeah, offense was definitely a biggest concern. Um, Got to give it to Issa Tall for getting that deal done in the summer,
Mhm,
but we feel like that there was a missed opportunity for maybe another striker out there, right,
mhm.
to be brought in until we can get Abu Ali. It's definitely. I mean, everybody has concerns on offense, but when you deal away a striker that normally drops in into the midfield to collect the ball and swing it out wide to Mo Farsi, Max Arston, it's kind of hard to find somebody who can replicate that. So offense was a big concern, but I feel like we kind of got the job done. We're in the playoffs.
I mean, one of the names I can definitely bring up is Jason Russell Rowe.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people looked at JRR and sort of compared him a little bit to maybe Patrick Ajamong in Charlotte, who was able to really take the reins, make it his toy before
Yeah.
he went over to Europe. Do you feel that Jason Russell Rowe had the same potential going into this season?
I would say yes and no, right? I feel like yes because he's proven he can score goals. I would say no because I feel like he's better off a
Mm,
substitute who can, when Columbus is up, kind of hold the ball and let numbers get forward as opposed to just getting and going forward, right? If you know
mhm,
Wilfred Nancy loves the ball. He loves possession.
mhm,
With Jason coming off the bench, he's able to kind of give that to close out games. Hold up play, kind of work the ball back to the midfield, and they can work it around and around and around. But he's also a proven goal scorer, like I said. Um, he has scored a couple goals this year, great goals. But as far as being clinical and critical, like Cujo Hernandez has, I feel like there's a little bit of a gap between the talent level, if that
mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like there's still some parts of the roster that I think are maturing. I
Yeah.
think you've seen some people like Max Arfston, Sean Zawadski, who have definitely, I think, matured beyond their means. And it's been a good test to see how well they can sort of take the positions that are left over. But you did need somebody with experience to sort of come in and guide this team. And it feels like that was the reason that Daniel Gazdag joined this team after match day 8.
Yeah.
How did you see the team using Gazdag as your new DP in Nance's system?
So with Daniel, it's more so of how can we integrate him into a system that is a complete 180
Mm,
from Jim Curtin slash Bradley Carnell in Philadelphia, right?
right.
Um, in 2023, when Columbus went to Philadelphia, Gazdag kind of rolled all over us in goals and scoring 2 penalty kicks, but he was asked to score the goals. He played
Hmm.
more of a attacking striker, maybe a false nine position, as opposed to now he's being asked to hold the ball, make certain runs, but just play with the ball a little bit, right?
Hmm.
It's different. And a lot of crew fans and are calling for him to be sold. He
Wow.
just oh my gosh, it's been it's been all season. Um it takes time, especially when you're not used to playing this way, right? When he came to Columbus, he said he was happy that he doesn't have to chase anymore, right? He can
Hmm.
be chased and not be the chaser.
Hmm.
Um, it still needs work a little bit, in my opinion, but I
Hmm.
think with a full off season, and a full preseason with Columbus, he'll be fine. He can get back to scoring goals. He'll be, a constant 10 that we need him to be, and I think he'll be just the Daniel Gazdag that we know from Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think Gazdag will eventually be a good fit. It's just like you said, it's a matter of how can you create this system and his placement. How can you make them copacetic with each other?
Yep.
And it seemed like early on, it looked like it was helping. He wasn't scoring goals, but you were still winning through the first third of the season. 7 wins in the first 11 games, pretty good. Things did though stall, and you're starting to see the team slide a little bit as time went on.
Yeah.
Maybe around the middle of the season, were there any signs of concern that things were not working the way that it should have been working?
Um, I would say yes and no. I think mainly the one that comes to mind is just the lack of creativity and grit in the final third, right? I said this last night on my podcast, the Wise Men Say podcast. just take a shot. No matter where you are on the field, just take a shot. Make the goalie work. If it's on target, if it's off target, it doesn't matter. Just take the shot. Nancy wants the crew to find the final pass, that final pass inside the 18-yard box. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it isn't. Just take the shot no matter where you are. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? A goal kick? Sure, whatever. It's, the 25th minute. Oh well. Um, that's the biggest concern before the summer window. Um, and it was still the concern even after the summer window. I mean, we haven't scored besides the Atlanta game where we got out to a 5-1 lead before halftime. We just haven't been able to score the goals that we used to be scoring. Um, and then on the other hand, it's more so of, how can the defense, step up and not concede goals. There were growing many pains with the defense because Rudy Camacho hasn't seen a single minute in 2025, though he dressed for the last game of the season. Just rotating, you know, defenders and injuries and everything. It was just how can we stick with a core three that will not concede any goals, and that has been a big hassle. But they came up when they needed it, and it's just it's just something we have to figure out.
Yeah, it feels kind of weird, thinking about that. I mean, the likes of Darlington Nagbe sort of being like the keystone up top and the defense being solid behind him. Um, and maybe we can bring up Darlington Nagbe a little bit.
Yeah.
He has announced his retirement. I mean, what are you guys going to be missing with him leaving for next year?
It's funny you say that. I just saw the crew had posted out a couple hours ago that entering into 25 into 2025, Darlington Nagbe had the highest successful passing percentage in MLS and finished at the top, boasting an outstanding 95.7% passing accuracy.
Mhm.
That is what we're going to be missing, right? Darlington Nagbe is the most fouled player in MLS because the way that he draws attention from two, three, four players and is able to pass and break out of pressure. That is something that we're going to be missing. Dylan Shambo hasn't proved that he has the capability of doing that because he's more so of an attacking central midfielder,
Mhm.
whereas opposed to Darlington Nagbe is more of a defending center mid.
Mhm.
Um, it- the passing is what we're going to be missing in Darlington Nagbe. Everybody can pass the ball, but there's something special with Darlington Nagbe and the way that I think every match except for 3, he had over a 96% passing accuracy and missed maybe one or two passes in those games. That is going to be a big hole left in the midfield that we will have to try and figure out how we can make somebody or find a player that can continue that and continue to can continue to have make Columbus have possession of the ball.
Yeah. Eh, I think a lot of us we're not going to miss him too much down in Cincinnati because he has burned us so badly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we do have to tip our cap to him. I mean, the guy has been a consummate professional.
Mhm.
I remember seeing the incredible goal he scored for Portland, the juggle, and then distance
Yep.
distance howitzer. He's got talent for days. He will be on your starting 11 when they're talking about the best lineup that you can create out of anyone who's played minutes in MLS.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
The Jersey Swap podcast is also sponsored by Beyond Exercise. Beyond Exercise is a local physical therapy and fitness business that helps people stay active and injury free. In fact, they help some of our local MLS, MLS Next Pro, and FCC Academy players with their health and performance needs. Check out their suite of services at gobeyondexercise.com. So let's look at how this lineup could hammer out. I've brought up the lineup that was used for the Red Bulls. The crew had rolled out for Red Bull, and then a potential lineup for FCC, just because Kevin Denke was not starting against Montreal. Um, so do you feel like, looking at what we've set up for the crew here, um, you had mentioned that Rossi will play, and if he does play, where do you feel he fits into this lineup?
Yeah. I think Rossi and Gazdag will both play.
Mhm,
And I feel like Lapalainen and Picard would be the two sacrifices. Um, with Russell Rowe being the nine. Obviously, Abu Ali, maybe not. I don't think so. But with Russell Rowe being the nine, Picard will make way for Rossi. Lapalina will make way for Gazdag. Those three have a tendency to kind of feed off each other,
mhm.
in a good way, but maybe not the way that once was Ramirez, Cucho, and Rossi. Um, I think it's a pretty spot on, honestly, just for those two. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how Rossi's feeling. Gazag, no injury, just maybe needed a rest. That's why he didn't
Mhm.
start. But Rossi coming back from that hamstring injury is going to be a telltale sign whether or not that he starts or he comes off the bench.
Do you feel that Mo Farsi is close? I know that they were talking about Abu Ali, how it was 6 weeks from when the hairline fracture in the ankle had been
Yeah.
diagnosed. So he might not be able to play the first round, but
Mhm.
maybe down the road. How close is Mo Farsi?
Mo Farsi, timeline is still unchanged, and there wasn't really a timeline because there was I think it was a sports hernia surgery
Mm,
that he had.
yeah.
So that was when that was complete. His timeline was to be determined. So
Mhm,
I would say if he were to come back, he's not coming back this first round.
mhm. Okay. So, I mean, is there anything else outside of the injuries which you feel could hamper this lineup against Cincinnati?
Lapses in the back line. Um, I think we get a little bit too frantic at the back when teams counterattack. And obviously, I said this last night, bringing back Brenner, Cincinnati, that could definitely kind of uh, be a challenge for the back line of Amundsen, Morera. I would even go out on a limb and say Shaberko, who
Mhm.
has been a consistent great defender for us this year, just sometimes has those moments where just slip up just a tad bit. I think with this, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The front three of Denke, Brenner, and Evander is definitely going to be a handful for our back three. Um, it'll be definitely a challenge, especially playing in Cincinnati first. That would be the only thing I think that would slip up Columbus and cost us this first game.
I would tend to agree. Our one of our co-hosts did bring up something very interesting last week. How really the big difference that you're seeing with a front three helmed by Evander compared to a front three helmed by Lucho is that the pressure seemed to squeeze the ball away from the defense in an attacking position. You don't quite get that with this FCC squad this season. You're getting separation of the ball, but much deeper in the opponent's half. So it requires working up to get into the box once again. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of the long distance shots being taken by Evander and Denke. Perhaps having Brenner now be your second striker, it changes things. It changes the dynamic a little bit. You're allowed to have Brenner maybe put a little bit more pressure, and then you have a two-headed monster that can be fed in the box. Hopefully, we saw a little bit of that at least at the end of the game against Montreal. Hopefully, we can see that against a crew team that has a susceptible defense.
Yeah, and I think I mean I have to tip my cap to Pat Noonan for dealing with this lineup, but finding a way to make all the stars shine throughout the season, especially going now into the playoffs where you face Columbus 2-3 times within what, a week and a half, I think it is, maybe.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but getting results with this lineup or with these three has been absolutely fascinating to see on the other end. I hope it's not fascinating on Monday, but it is what it is.
We'll see. I mean, we're still working out our own injury bugs.
Yep.
Luca Estrano finally played with the regular squad after a setback with his hamstring. Ender Echenike looks like he's okay, perhaps good to go after being sat out against Montreal. Our big issue that we're going to have is our back three. Tina Chedebe has been good, but he's had moments where he just has lapses and has let a striker slip in behind him. Nick Hagland, he might only be able to play 60 minutes if he needs a break. That puts everything on Miles Robinson to sort of pick it up, especially since we don't see Matt Miazga being available this series. He could come back the next series. He's had the same, I think, issue as uh, Abu Ali, where we have a timeline and we can't violate that timeline if we don't want to lose him down the stretch.
Yeah, and Wilfred Nancy is one of the most thought out process person people to not rush a guy back through injury. He'll even give him a week and a half extra if they need it, just to make sure that they're 100%.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see this potential lineup as is rolled out that way, and then you see Mark Zook and Elvis Powell on the left and right rolled out for Ender Echenike and Luca Orishano, depending on their health and depending on what the scorer line looks like. If
Mhm.
they're up a little bit, if it's a 2-0 lead, perhaps you see a more defensive approach. Perhaps you see perhaps you see even a Yuya Kubo being ruled out there to replace maybe Mark Zook. He's been able to fill in the left wing position before, and he did pretty good against Montreal. We'll see if he can sort of be our Swiss Army knife for this game. So looking at things in general, I'm not going to ask for a prediction just yet, but I'm going to ask you who you feel on both sides of the both teams here, who the X factors are going to be. And I'm putting a caveat here. You cannot use Evander for our side.
All right. I would say for Cincinnati, it would have to be, I think, Brenner, honestly. Um, I think bringing him back has bolstered an already well-established attack even more in Cincinnati's favor. I feel like he would be that one to kind of give our back line a hard time. And I think it's going to be a very tough challenge, as I said before, being in Cincinnati to keep him constrained. So I think he would definitely be one to keep an eye out on. And for us, I mean, we talked about him. We're going to be missing him. It's going to be Darlington Nagbe, right? The midfield maestro who dictates the play from the midfield and can draw an attack and spring forwards and passes to the wings and start a counterattack. I think with his ability to hold the ball and draw in defenders is going to be the key for Columbus to get a win or at least get a goal in Cincinnati, especially during the playoffs. And that's going to be kind of what will the rest of the game look like, right? If Columbus can get a goal with Nagby, dictating how this game is going to go, how will the rest of the game shape out, and how will it affect Cincinnati in game two if Columbus were to put out the win? How will it affect Cincinnati going into game two in Columbus?
I'm going to put my X factors in the box. I'm going to say both goalkeepers, just
Okay, yeah.
because I feel that Roman Celentano, he had been out for a few games, but he certainly looked the part against Montreal. Did get lucky with the penalty kick nailing the woodwork, so he wouldn't have to worry about that situation. But he looked solid in the pipes. And honestly, Patrick Schulte, I remember when it was the 3-2 victory for FCC a few years ago in 2023. He looked shaken. Since then, he's looked like a much more mature, much more professionally grown athlete back there, that he has a solid head on his shoulders. And if he's able to sort of dictate things a little bit in place of some of the missing pieces that might be in the defense, then I think you're going to have something that stitched together will frustrate our front three. Yeah,
I can agree with that.
those are going to be my picks. I don't know if they work. We'll call it my pick for game one. We'll see what game two brings up for that. But so let's put it on the table here. Let's
All
make
right.
our general prediction. How many games does this go, and who comes
Yeah.
out with the victory?
I've gotten a lot of hate for this. But I feel like, given the way the second half of the season has gone for Columbus, which has been not good, but it's been relatively decent. It has just been kind of what are we doing? Why are we losing to New England at home? Why are we tying Toronto? Why are we doing this? Why do we let Atlanta get 4 unanswered goals after going up 5-0? It's just, what in the world is going on? And I think we just can't shake it. And I think running into a Cincinnati team that I feel kind of a roller coaster, a better looking roller coaster second half of the season than Columbus, is just going to be even more of a why. So I think, and people, Cincinnati fans will absolutely love me for this. The series goes 3, but I think Cincinnati takes it 2-1.
Okay. Do you feel at all? I mean, do you feel that we're going to have any penalty kicks at any point?
You know what? Something tells me this first game is just going to go to penalties.
I wouldn't be surprised. We haven't been able to figure out you guys this season. And that's why I'm a little hesitant to say who could come out with this. It honestly, if Columbus beats us in 3, I'll have to, pat my hands, put them up and say, obviously, the boogeyman is your 12th man right now. And we've done something to this karmic shift that we cannot beat our best. We cannot beat our biggest rival when we really need to beat them. But I do think that it's going to be 3, and Cincinnati is going to pull it out. It's going to be a matter of who shines the most in game 1. If we give up the lead and we cannot win game 1, game 2 feels like it's going to be a wash. That it feels like that I don't see us pulling anything away from Columbus. We get snake bit there all the time, whether it's a draw or a loss. As long as you guys don't sign Miguel effing Berry, between now and game 3, then I will be fine. But I'm going to say a very hesitant 2-1 victory for Cincinnati in these 3 situations.
That I will say that is if you guys don't have a 2-0 lead, because apparently that's just that seems to be the score line.
As a reminder, we had a 2-0 lead in the 6th minute against you guys at TQL this year, and then we gave up 4. It's like you might as well. It felt like if you were looking up in the stands, Lucas Zelarayan was like looking at us and staring daggers through us. We heard the shush sound coming from New England and Caleb Porter. So yeah,
man.
We don't want that to happen. But if it happens, it will just add to the mystique of this rivalry.
It really will. It really will.
Okay, well, we'll lock it in for now. We can change it. We'll see how game 1 goes on Monday, 6:45 p.m. Difficult time for everybody. I don't know about you guys, but this is people are not liking this timing.
Thankfully, I have Mondays off of work and I'm making the trip down, hopefully, but this is a terrible time, honestly.
I wonder why they couldn't have done any on Saturday. Like no games on Saturday. I know you might be a little bit, hesitant to pit yourself against college football, but come on, guys. if you have pride in your product, if you feel that you'll get a humongous crowd to show up on a Saturday night, then do it. Pull the trigger.
Yeah, whether it's you get numbers or not, just do it, because people have work in the morning, or people are just getting off of work actually on a Monday. Like, yeah,
Yeah, even Sunday is going to be difficult. Game 2 up a Sunday
yeah,
evening up in it's like, okay, all right, maybe this is good that it goes to 3, and that way we'll have a nice Saturday game. Uh,
yeah. That's what I
of
would
all,
like
of all the things, game 3 will all be on Saturday. I was
on a
like,
Saturday. Yep.
okay, all
Who
right.
would have thought?
I don't know who's writing these out, but okay, all right. We'll play your game. I forget the guy from Saw, but we'll play your game. Jokes there.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name either.
Okay. Once again, we want to thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to be up there for game 2. You'll be here for game 1. We'll shake hands on it.
Yeah.
Can you remind us, where can we find you guys if we want to check out your material?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter, or X as it's now called, at Fisher Tyler __. If you like to read, you can find all my written work on massivereport.com, which then goes to massive-report.com. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Excellent, excellent. It's great to talk with you guys. I can't believe that our ships just were constantly passing in the night.
Yeah,
We couldn't talk the past 2 times. But yeah, it's great to have you, and hopefully this will be one for the ages. Hopefully we're not the ones crying again.
I look forward to it, Geoff.
On behalf of myself, on behalf of everybody at CST, on behalf of Ty and everybody at Massive Report, thank you very much for listening to us all the time. If you want to find our podcast, go to cincinnati-soccer-talk.com. Go to your favorite podcasting platforms. Go to Cincy Soccer Talk on the socials, X, Blue Sky, even Instagram. We have it there. And listen for us. We'll be reporting every Monday night, every midweek for the Jersey Swap. So on behalf of everybody, keep your kit clean, and let's play another solid 90 minutes together. Thank you very much, Ty.
Thank you.